Hi, this is Chef Paul coming back here at the Advanced Technology Center in this wonderful Patronus kitchen lab. We're talking wine, and today we're moving on into reds. This is a Syrah or Shiraz, depending on where you are in the world. In France, they might call it a Syrah. In the New World, which would be Australia, New Zealand, the United States, you might hear it called Shiraz. Supposedly it's named after an ancient city in Iran where the grape supposedly came from, but all I know is that it's wonderful. And the Pinot Noirs and the Shiraz, many will call them the gateway drugs into red wine. So we're going to open up and taste and take a look. And if you remember the last episode where we tasted the white wine, it had a very, very basic set of smells, a very basic set of tastes. Well, as we move into the reds, we got a few more things that are going on. Things like tannins. And tannins come from the skins and the stems of the grape, and they're the things that make your mouth feel dry. They're astringent. They give that feeling like a velvet glove. Also, aging differences in how these are aged, whether they're aged in wood or metal or even concrete. Wines are aged differently. And then the wine itself. This is a 2014 Francis Coppola Diamond Collection Shiraz, and it is just a nice red. It's nothing giant like a Cabernet, but it definitely is something that I might have with some nice, maybe some spicy Thai food or even pizza, okay? And we're going to get into the idea of pairing wines with food. The main thing I think about when pairing wines with food, the old idea of whites with chicken and fish and reds with beef, to me is passé. I drink the wine I like with the food I like, and it doesn't matter what color it is, okay? So let's talk about this. Again, I've got a loose capsule, and I'm going to pull it out. This, and I haven't talked about corks much yet, this is a composite cork. Composite corks are corks made up of chips of cork that are glued and pressed together. There's a problem with cork, with natural cork. Natural cork can have a cork taint. It's a chemical, and amazingly, a drop of cork taint can actually ruin an Olympic swimming pool size amount of wine. So I have no problem with screw tops or composite corks or plastic corks. For me, it's a way to know that my wine isn't going to be tainted, okay? So again, I've opened up my wine, my waiter's friend. I'm going to open this up. And remember, don't go all the way through the cork. Leave a couple of turns, okay? Open, and then open with a sigh. Just a tiny little whimper. That's what we want. Now, a lot of reds I will open up ahead of time and let them breathe a little bit. You'll hear that word breathe and you're wondering, well, wine's not alive, it can't breathe. What it is the wine needs to open up. And open up means it needs to get oxygenated enough so that all those variety of smells and odors can come out of the wine. You'll taste the difference between a closed wine and an open wine. You'll hear people talking like that. So, we're going to splash some in and look at the color. Now, what you'll notice is I can tell that this is a fairly young wine. How do you know that? Well, red wines, typically under 5 years old, will have more of a purple hue to them. And it's a pretty telltale sign that you're going to see a little bit of purple in a young wine. Again, splash it into the glass. You want to give it opened up. We've got nice legs on this. See, swirl, smell, and this one smells like blackberries and jam. The jamminess, you'll hear people talk about jamminess, that sweet smell. And I'm also getting a woody sense to it, and that may be because this was aged in oak. You can actually sometimes take the wine glass just to the edge of your nose, and if a wine was aged in oak, really like a good oak Chardonnay, you'll actually smell smoke from the wine barrel after they've been toasted. So we're going to swirl this, and if the wine is too cold, this is one of the few times that I'll say put your hand on the glass itself and warm it up. Each wine has a temperature that it likes to be served at. While champagne, sparkling wines may be served in the mid 40 degree range, white wines anywhere from 48 all the way up to maybe 55, 58 degrees for a Chardonnay. I might serve something like this Shiraz all the way up into a cellar temperature of around 60 degrees. So if it's too cold, you're not going to get the full sense of the wine. It won't be opened up. So you might use your hand to warm it just a little bit and then go back down to the base. And the smells will change. To me, I'm getting a citrus note on this now. And it's time to taste, the best part. And it's not very sweet at all. It's on the dry side. You'll hear people talk about that term, dry. When people are talking about wine and they say it's dry, what they're meaning is it's not sweet. Sweet is the opposite of dry. You'll hear people say sec or doux, which means sweeter side. Fairly tannic. My tongue is drying out, causing me to salivate. This is a wine that's served with food. It causes you to salivate and get ready for food, okay? Pizza might be really good with this one too. Again, it's still pretty young, but it has a nice flavor. Again, not a long finish on it, fairly tannic. I'm getting it in the roof of my mouth and on the back and the sides of my tongue. Every wine you taste is going to have a different mouthfeel to it. And it's important that as my students are taking my class in wine, they're writing down all these things. And over the course of the semester, they're building up this, well, think of a painter's palette. If you only use 2 or 3 colors, your paintings would be pretty boring. The more colors you can use, typically, the more extravagant or lively your painting. As we taste more wines, we start getting more words, smells, and taste add to that palette. So by the end of the semester, it's pretty amazing how far the students come. So while I enjoy this glass of Shiraz, or Shiraz, depending on how you like to pronounce it, I hope you'll join me again next time when we come back and taste some more wine. This is Chef Paul saying thank you very much. Cheers.